Haitian consulate is now speaking after 7 delegates visiting the U.S. for the Special Olympics seem to have disappeared. 6 were last seen June 6th and 7th and maybe disappeared over the weekend. Nicole Griffith has the latest for us.
Herwil Gaspar, the consul of the Consulate of Haiti in Orlando, says with 16 medals, this year's Special Olympics was a great one for the island nation. But the fact that 7 delegates have still not made it home is a big concern.
I met personally with the Special Olympics committee last Friday, and we were discussed about the situation. So we are worried about the situation, the Special Olympics as well.
He said this is not the first time Haiti has participated in the Special Olympics, but claims this is the first time this has ever happened. He says all of Haiti's delegates, except for these 7, made it back home yesterday. The Osceola County Sheriff's Office reports they left their belongings behind and were last seen on Disney property.
We don't want to talk too much about the situation because there's an investigation running right now. So we're working hands in hands with the government and also with Special Olympics to know exactly what was happened, what the situation is exactly, and to get more information about the situation.
Despite the ongoing investigation, he says they're moving forward as the rest of the athletes are already training for next year.
We are participate in a Special Olympics, so next year it's going to be in Germany, and we hope that Haiti will be there again.
And in Puerto Rico, a local pilot has become the first and only Puerto Rican from the island to be chosen for an exclusive developmental racing program that's set to focus on evaluating and enhancing their performing skills. Our Francis Felix brings us more.
Sebastián Carazo becomes the first and only Puerto Rican to be selected for the exclusive racing program Lamborghini Young Driver. Lamborghini Squadra Corps, the racing division of Lamborghini, presented the list of only 15 pilots of its development program Young Driver. One of those chosen for the selected group is the Puerto Rican natural from Guaynabo, Sebastián Carazo, currently competing in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America. The Young Driver program selects drivers 26 years of age or younger and is one of the most complete in the world of racing. They will be evaluated throughout the 22 season. Performance, consistency, experience, professionalism, among others, are some of the metrics.
I feel it's a very important achievement in my career, being a Lamborghini junior driver, having them recognize me as a young talent and having them just to have them keep me in their eye and take me into consideration to be a factory driver in the following years.
Tell me about the sacrifices you have to make.
Apart from driving, I also work a full-time job, and taking the time off work and being able to go to the races and being there, plus all the physical training I need to do to compete at that level, because it's a very intense. Even though you're sitting down on a race car, the temperature gets up to 140 degrees inside the car, plus it's an hour-long race, so you're strapped into a car. You need to have that physical endurance. So from the States, they chose around 5 drivers. Okay. They're young drivers. Everybody is under 26 years old, and they choose from there. They keep you under like in their radar, and they look not only at outright pace, at how fast you can go in a car. They also look at how you perform outside the car, social media, how do you handle press, how do you handle consistency during a weekend, how can you recover from an incident, or all those. They take into consideration everything like that. So at the end of the year, they choose whoever is best to there. They choose 1 driver or 2 drivers from the States to compete against drivers from Europe, from the other continents for a shootout. And from there, they get the quickest driver and the guy that can fill out all those positions, and have them compete for Lamborghini for 2023.
So how you feel to be the only one from Puerto Rico?
It's a great honor to be able to represent Puerto Rico as being the only Puerto Rican to be chosen as a Lamborghini junior driver, and also being last year I was a Porsche junior driver, which is the same program but handled by Porsche. So being able to be in both factories under their recognition and have their scouts and their people looking at me just it's a huge honor to be as one of the quickest Puerto Ricans to say something like that.
Future goals.
Future goals right now is to win championships. I'm running in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Series, and I'm also running in the Porsche Sprint Challenge this year. So current goals for this year is to win a championship in both series. And for the upcoming seasons is to become either a factory driver or just to win a 24-hour Rolex or something like that.
Tell us about the upcoming races.
So upcoming races I have with Lamborghini, I have a race on June 26th till June 29th in Watkins Glen. It's a racetrack in New York. And I also have a race coming up in the 4th of July weekend for Porsche in Ohio. I will always be posting everything in my social media. It's going to be Facebook, it's going to be Sebastian Carrazzo Racing, and in Instagram it's going to be under S. Carrazzo. And there I'll post everything from race updates, preparations, results, and everything like that.
Sebastian expressed his excitement to be the only Puerto Rican chosen for this program and to be able to show his talent on and off track. The winner will be chosen to participate in the final in Portugal. From Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, Frances Felix.
All right, thanks, Francis. In the meantime, addressing supply chain issues is crucial to ensuring food security across the Caribbean. Our One Caribbean News' Deandra Hamilton reports.
The Caribbean and the world need to ensure that their supply chain is efficient enough to save time in international trade for their imports bill to be reduced to achieve food security. This is one of the pieces of advice that international trade expert Pierre Bothanu had for the region at the first seminar of the Caribbean Development Bank's 52nd annual meeting, which opened on June 1st. During his presentation, Bothanu explained that international trade impacts the final cost of agricultural products as well. Therefore, he noted that it is the responsibility of supply chain leaders, government, and the private sector to reduce costs.
The commodity prices have surged, and there is a responsibility for all the actors of the supply chain, governments and private sector, to do everything they can to reduce the cost of trade in order to continue to provide qualitative and cost-effective products to the population that need it most.
The Trade Facilitation Advisor further noted that it is also important for the different components of international trade to be under control, optimized, and upgraded to achieve food security and lower those costs of imports.
And one needs to understand that it is important that the different components of international trade are under control, are optimized, are upgraded if we want to achieve real gains in terms of food security by lowering the price of imports.
The components about which he spoke were export procedures, domestic logistics services, international logistics services, and import procedures. Bothanu also stressed that for food security and lower import bills to be achieved, officials should identify and resolve the weaknesses in the supply chain link. Deandra Hamilton reporting.
All right, thanks so much, Deandra. Meantime, the youngest part of the U.S. population may soon be protected from COVID-19. The FDA's Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee is meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday. Among the issues to be discussed, granting an emergency use authorization to allow children who are at least 6 months old to get the Moderna and Pfizer and BioNTech vaccines. Right now, that is the only age range that isn't eligible for COVID shots. Recent documents from the FDA show that both vaccines are safe and effective for children. After officials vote on the issue, the entire agency will determine if they'll grant the authorization. The CDC will then decide if they agree with the FDA's decision. The White House previously said vaccines for young children may start being available as early as next week.